Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog, which is going to be very short because I'm in New York. If you've been watching my vlog the last few days, you know I'm visiting in New York where I used to live, and I don't have the time to make the usual kind of vlog that I do, but also my SD card is punking out on me. It keeps suddenly not recording, so I've got to go very fast before the card punks out on me again. I just wanted to get something out. I also have to talk a little soft because I'm staying in an Airbnb, and the host I'm staying with, he's usually not home around now, but this time he is. I don't want to disturb anybody, so let's get all that out of the way. I want to do a Trump impeachment circus update. Two major points I just want to make. The first one is there is a Senator, Ron Johnson, who is very involved with Ukraine, or he was at the time. He was, I guess you could call him almost a Senate point person on the Ukraine. That was his bailiwick. He had made several trips to Ukraine. He has spoken with Zelensky, with other officials. He got a letter from two representatives. One of them is Jim Jordan. The other one, I think it's Nunes. I'm not sure. Could be somebody else. As I said, I have to do this very quickly. Don't have time to look it up, refresh my memory. But he got a letter asking to comment on the impeachment so-called hearings so far, and just to provide his knowledge of the situation with the Ukraine, because he had been working with the officials in Ukraine all the way up to the president, and he also spoke with Donald Trump. He was one of the main people, he along with another senator, Chris Murphy, who got Trump to release the military aid that he had been withholding. So he was asked to comment on that. Now, first of all, he sent a long and scathing 10-page letter, which I'm linking to. I hope I can talk about it in more detail some other time, but I urge you to read the whole letter. He makes two major points. Number one, very angry about what the House is doing. He is very straightforward, very clear that what they are trying to do is drive him out of office by spinning this Ukraine phone call into something that it is not. Then he went on, second major point, to describe exactly what went on with the Ukraine. And what he said was, it was absolutely clear from Donald Trump that his concern was, number one, he did not want to give money to a country with a reputation for corruption. That was number one. Number two, he felt that, and he said it many times on many occasions publicly, that the United States is paying too much, taking on too much of the financial burden of paying for, in this case, Ukraine, for their defense against Russia. He thinks that the Europeans should be paying more. For those two reasons, and those two reasons only, he did not want to release the aid. Johnson was very clear that he had a very big selling job to do with Donald Trump to get him to change his mind and release the aid. His selling job was to convince Trump that Zelensky was different, that Zelensky was the real deal, that Zelensky would, in fact, fight corruption. Trump was skeptical all along because of Ukraine's well-earned reputation for corruption. But Johnson had met with Zelensky. He was convinced he was the real deal, and that was his job, as he saw it, to convince Trump that Zelensky was the real deal. It was nothing about don't investigate a political opponent and sacrifice Ukraine to your desire for personal political gain. Nothing like that. It was actually really 100% about part corruption and part that he felt that the Europeans should pay more. And that was the second selling job that Johnson had to do, which was to say that Ukraine was important, is important enough that Trump should release the aid, even if the Europeans were not paying as much as Trump thought they should. That was something that could be worked on later. And then he made a minor point that politically it would nothing to do with Biden now, but just politically it would look bad if Trump was being seen to withhold military aid, even though Obama did exactly that. That it would look, well, because we have a biased press that would give a free pass to Obama but not to Trump, and that it could be a little politically, I won't say damaging, but it wouldn't look good if he were withholding this aid from a country being threatened by the Russians, even if that country is corrupt, which Johnson believed it to be corrupt, but that Zelensky was the real deal. That was the whole reason, and he was very clear about that. That's number one. Second point is about hypocrisy. Again, I don't have time to look up the specific person who was questioned, but in the hearings, in the impeachment so-called inquiry, one of the Republican representatives, John Ratcliffe, I believe it was, he showed a stack of all the testimony, thousands of pages from multiple witnesses testifying about Ukraine, all the people that Adam Schiff called. He challenged, because now they had been talking about quid pro quo, remember, but that's gone by the wayside. Now they're talking about bribery, because they convened a focus group, the Democrats did, and they learned that quid pro quo wasn't selling as well as, well, they just tried a bunch of other terms, and bribery seemed to be popular among the focus group. So now they're talking about bribery. So Ratcliffe challenged one or more of the witnesses, or just anybody, to look at that thousands of pages and find the word bribery anywhere in there. And it's not there except once. In that thousands of pages of testimony, the word bribery appears only once, and it's in reference to, guess who? Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, to Joe Biden. Now, where the hypocrisy comes in, remember that Trump is being called a liar for claiming that he was concerned about corruption in that July 25th phone call, even though that was just confirmed by Senator Johnson, as I just showed you, and as you can read in that letter that I linked to. But the Democrats are saying that Trump is lying because the word corruption does not appear in that phone call, in the memo of the phone call or the transcript or whatever you want to call it. This is where the hypocrisy comes in, because now we have our Democratic friends saying, on the one hand, that Trump is lying when he said he was concerned about corruption because corruption does not appear in the phone call, the word corruption, but he is guilty of bribery even though the word bribery does not appear in all of that testimony. Do you see the double standard there? Do you see the hypocrisy? And I have to sign off now before my card punks out on me again. Well, one more thing I'm going to try to get in. I have said in the past that I welcome comments, and I try to leave everybody alone in the comments because I feel that's your space. I have this vlog to state my opinion, but I do want to emphasize one rule I do have is that I want the discussion to be respectful, whether you agree or disagree, to be respectful. And, well, in this case, I will not tolerate anti-Semitism or actually criticizing any religion in that manner. The reason I say that is because I got an anti-Semitic commenter and I hid that person's comments so they are no longer visible. And I will do that to anybody who does that in the future. Just want to get that out there. And now, that's it for sure. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? Put them in the comments below the video. Subscribe. I would love everybody to subscribe. And finally, come back and see me again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. I'm going to run out in the morning and buy myself a new SD card, and hopefully I'll be able to record in a more relaxed manner. But until I see y'all again, bye.